Hello and welcome. So welcome to approximately 15 minutes of stretching. So we're going to start our stretching by simply laying on the mat. Feet flat onto the mat, knees together. Draw the shoulders down away from you. Just be aware of your spine now, just nice. Focus on the spine. And then draw your navel very softly towards the spine. So you want to try and keep that little contraction going, not a pull back totally, but a gentle, soft drawing back of that navel towards the spine. And just focus on your breath. We know that yoga is all about the breath, so just focus on your breath. With your awareness on the breath, draw your right knee into your chest and give it a good squeeze. And then take your right hand onto the right knee. I'm going to take that right leg out to the right for a little hip opener. Just a little hip opener, flex the foot if you want to, and back to the center. If you want to make that a little bit deeper, the left leg is long. Push the heel away. Really make that left leg active. Place your hand on the left upper thigh. Take an inhale and exhale out to the right again. Flex the foot if you want to. And then come back to the center, and we'll do that one more time. Out to the right and back to the center. And we'll draw that knee deep into the chest, and we'll join it with the left knee and have a little roll around. Exactly the same on the other side, so place your right foot flat onto the mat, your left hand on the knee, take an inhale and exhale. Let the left knee drop over and flex the foot if you want to. Back to the center. Options to take the right leg long. Really feel the activation of the right leg as you push the right heel away, right hand on right thigh. Exhale out to the left again with the left knee. Back to the center, and we exhale out to the left. And then come back to the center. And then we'll draw the right knee in, and we'll have that little roll around on the spine. Place both feet one at a time, slowly onto the mat. And if you want to, you can have the knees together, or you can bring the soles of the feet and open up into the hips. So we're going to just either have that position or the knees together position. We're going to work into the shoulders. So take the arms up over your shoulders, nice long stretch. Feel what's happening in the belly, and now is when you'll notice that if you draw your navel to the spine, that's really going to work into the abdominals. Exhale all the way back down. Inhale is the rising. Remember, the knees can be together if it's too intense on the hips. Exhale, release back down again. We're going to do 3 more. Inhaling. Arms up. Touching the floor if you can, or take the arms wider if they don't touch the floor. Exhaling back down to the earth. Inhale, rising. Remember, you can widen those arms if it makes it more accessible, or even pop a cushion underneath the fingertips. Exhale back to the earth. And then one more inhale, lengthen up. And exhale back down. And then we'll, with our hands, draw the knees together if they are apart. Place your hands down by the side of your body and take both knees over the chest. Going to stretch the legs up to the ceiling. Toes to nose, heels to ceiling. So you can feel a nice stretch all the way along the hamstrings, into the calves and into the ankles. Hands down by the side of the body. Your hamstrings are tight. You may have to hold on to those back thighs. That's fine. That's no problems. And then knees into chest. Inhale, we lengthen up. Toes to nose, heels to ceiling. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, lengthen up. Toes to nose, heels to ceiling. Exhale, knees to chest. And let's do one more. Lengthen up. And again, feel free to hold on to the back of the thighs, or you can even bend your knees. You'll know if your hamstrings are tight because you'll need to bend your knees, and that's fine. This is a great stretch, and you can also do this stretch to open up your hamstrings by just popping your buttock against the wall and having the legs up the wall and let the wall support the legs. A great practice to passively open up your hamstrings if they are tight. A nice easy breathing. And then bring the feet one at a time back down to the mat. We're going to drop the knees to the right and have the arms stretched out by the side of us and gaze to the left. We have a spinal rotation. Nice easy breathing. And then we'll come back to the center and we'll drop the knees to the left and we'll gaze in the opposite direction of the knees. We'll do that one more time, back to the center, to the right, gaze to the left. Feel that nice pull on that left hip, back to the center, to the left, gaze to the right, and feel that nice pull on the right hip. And then we'll come back to the center. I'm going to show you an easy way of getting up. You can either just roll up, we're coming up to seated, but if you're laying on your back and you place your flat hands onto the mat, lift up your buttocks and then rest the whole of the buttocks on the back of the hands. Draw your knees into the chest as we did before and stretch the legs up to the ceiling. Now with momentum, we'll lift the chest and lower the legs at the same time. Take an inhale and exhale. We rise up and it's quite a nice easy way to get up. We're going to carry on working into the shoulders a little bit. Interlock the fingers and just turn the palms upwards, and we're going to just lengthen up and then release back down again. And then lengthen up and release back down again. Then take your left arm all the way up to the ceiling and we're going to have a nice stretch. You can always walk this hand out a little bit and keep stretching, but you want to keep this right sit bone on the mat. So you're really getting this lateral stretch. And then maybe lift up your heart a little bit and look towards the ceiling. You can feel that full stretch. One more breath. And then slowly back to the center. And the opposite arm goes up and we stretch. And we go over and maybe we'll walk the fingers. And maybe we'll stretch a little bit more, but we'll keep that sitting bone, both sitting bones down onto the mat, so that we really intensify the stretch. And then slowly come back to the center. Change the cross of your legs. Bring your fingertips behind you and lengthen up into the spine. So we want to have a spine that is nice and straight before we decide to twist. Take your right hand behind your right buttock and your left hand onto the knee. Inhale, we lengthen up, and on the exhale, we'll twist. So really twisting from the lower back into the upper back, then the shoulders, and then finally the neck. So making sure that the twist is the whole length of the spine. Take another long, deep inhale, grow tall. And exhale, just twist that a little bit more. And then we'll come back to the center and we'll lengthen up. Really nice, long, straight backs. Opposite hand, take an inhale. And on the exhale, we start that slow and focused twist. Lower back, lumbar, upper back, thoracic, into the shoulders, and finally the neck looks over. You're really feeling this twist along the spine and into the neck. And then we'll come back to the center. And again, we'll lengthen up through that spine. I'm going to come into all fours now. Coming into all fours. I'm going to work into the spine so the hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. And inhale the gaze up. And the buttocks go up as well. We have a back bend. On the exhale, rounding your back, drawing the navel towards the spine and gaze to your navel. Let's take some fluid stretches into the spine. This is probably one of the best spinal exercises that you can do. So do it nice and slow and focused. Inhale, gazing up, buttocks up. Exhale, rounding the back, softly drawing the navel to the spine, back stretch. I'm going to do 3 more, really focused. And then this will be the last one. And then come back to neutral. So we're going to walk our hands back until the buttocks reach the heels. Maybe they don't reach the heels. Pop a cushion underneath there if you need to. Have nice long stretched arms in front of us. Forehead can come to a block or a cushion, or can come to the floor. Those who are requiring a deeper stretch in the shoulders, imagine now that you're going to walk on your fingertips. So pop your fingertips onto the mat, lift up the wrists, and you'll find that deeper stretch in the shoulders. And then we'll just release the hands down, and we'll settle into what we call child posture. From here, keeping your arms super long in front of you, keeping that stretch in the armpits. Just simply come up onto your knees. Then tuck your toes, lift up your hips. We're going into downward facing dog. So we want to have a nice long straight back and long hamstrings. If your hamstrings are tight, you'll need to bend your knees. Absolutely fine, because it will keep the spine nice and long. If your hamstrings are a little bit more flexible, you can draw the heels towards the earth. You can even walk your dog. You can bend one knee, bend another one, and just walk your dog until you feel comfortable enough to pop into that downward facing dog. It's quite strong in the shoulders. It's a little bit too intense. Pop your knees onto the mat and just have a half dog by just drawing the hips back, and have a half dog. So one more breath in downward facing dog stretch. Remember that navel draws softly towards the spine. Just feel that nice movement. And from here, knees onto the mat. Untuck the toes, and we settle back into child posture. Now, as the shoulders have been working, perhaps bring the hands onto the heels. Remember, you can have a block underneath your forehead, and we just relax the shoulders. And then from here, we're just going to work into the abdominals, the next sequence. So super long arms again. Come onto the knees, tuck the toes, lift the knees and exhale, downward facing dog. And if you've had those arms super long, we can transition into plank. We just look at the toes, come onto the tippy toes, float the shoulders over the wrist, push the heels away, we're in plank. Too intense, knees down, lift up the ankles and have half plank. Exhale takes you back to downward facing dog stretch. Inhale takes you back to that plank. Shoulders over wrist, push the heels away. Do not let yourself sink into the plank. Use the legs, push the heels away, squeeze the buttocks. Use those legs, glutes to help you. Exhale back to dog. Just feeling these beautiful stretches. One more, inhale into your plank. Remember, you're going to half plank, push the heels away. This is the secret to keep that plank straight. And exhale back to your dog. Both knees on the mat. Walk your hands back. And this time we're going to open the knees. Have the big toes together. And we're going to let those arms rest a little bit and open up the groin and the hip area. So have the hands underneath the forehead and soften. And from here we'll just take a lateral stretch, so we'll have the arms nice and long. And we'll walk the arms to the right and then down. You want to make it a little bit more intense. Your left hand can come on top of your right hand and you'll find it gives deeper stretch. And then we walk back to the center, nice long arms. And then we'll take that same walk towards the left. And again, those who want a deeper stretch can take the right hand on top of the left and just have that extra bit of stretch. And then all the way back to the center. So walk your hands back. We'll softly draw the knees together and we'll take downward facing dog again. So super long arms onto the knees, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. You're going to drop your knees to the mat. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders and walk your knees underneath your hips. You're going to take your right leg long, pop the toe on the mat and push away into the hamstrings. This is option 1, you're staying here. Option 2 is you're lifting up that right leg, not too high, not too low, navel to spine. And option 3 is left hand leaves the mat and we stretch. So really working into the abdominals. And then we change sides. So the left toe tucks and we stretch. And we either stay here, but we focus on navel to spine, or we lift that left leg up, not too high, not too low, back stays neutral. And maybe take the opposite hand away and stretch. Really working into the abdominals. And then we come back to neutral. Do it one more time if you want to, or take child posture. Right leg long, lengthen, lift, and left hand lifts, stretch. So push back, heel away, stretch forward with the fingertips. We change sides, left toe long, lift, engage the core, right hand leaves the mat, and then we release down. Take your child posture again, find your breath. Coming back into the downward facing dog stretch, tuck the toes, lift the knees, exhale, downward facing dog, navel to spine, head hanging just between the upper arms, and then float through your plank if it serves you well, or lay your belly down onto the mat, knees down, belly down, hands under shoulders, elbows draw in towards the ribs. We lift the heart and the head first, then a gentle push through the hands. We rise into Cobra back bend, and then release back down again. Twice more. Hands down by the side of your chest, elbows tucked in. Inhale is the lift. Exhale is the release. And then one more. Inhale is the lift. And exhale is the release. With your hands underneath your shoulders, draw the elbows in. We rise through that cobra onto the knees and we return to child posture. We're just going to come onto our backs now. So where we began, we lay on our backs, feet flat. Take your right leg up to the ceiling. Take your ankle across the left knee. And option one is you're staying here. You can actually apply a tiny bit of pressure if you want to, with this nice hip opener. Or if you want to go deeper, right hand through the triangle you've created, left foot lifts, and we take our hands behind that left thigh. This is a great posture for anybody who has sciatica. So we want to have the back just spreading on the mat now, drawing that knee in. You can go deeper if you want to. You can have your hands in front of the knee, just below the kneecap, or behind the knee. You can have the foot flat onto the mat, the left foot. There are lots of different options for this particular posture. You can also have a cushion under your head if you find that your head's lifting up. Just breathe. And then we release that left foot down and the right foot down. Take the left leg up to the ceiling. Ankle over knee. Remember, option one is hand on knee. No pushing, just that weight of the hand is sufficient. Through the triangle you've created, if you want to go deeper, lift that right leg up round the back of the thigh. An option to take your hands in front of the kneecap. Take it a little bit deeper, flexing your feet if you want to really make sure that the knees are protected. Just a couple more breaths, in whichever position that you want to be in. And then we release the right foot down and the left foot down. It's going to take a little twist. But we're also going to work into the quadriceps. So I want you to walk your feet really as wide as the mat. So your knees are now wide apart and your feet are on the edges of your mat. Open your arms nice and wide. And we're just going to simply drop the knees to the right and draw the knees down towards the earth. So you're going to feel a nice stretch on that left front quadricep. The left front thigh is feeling the stretch now. We also have a spinal rotation. And then we'll go over to the other side, drop the knees to the left, and we'll feel that nice stretch in the right upper thigh. And then we'll do that once more. To the right. We can always draw the knees a little bit closer if it feels appropriate to the earth. Back to the center and to the left. And again, we can draw the knees a little bit closer to the earth if we want to, really intensifying the stretch. And then we come back to the center. Feet flat and together, knees together, draw both knees into the chest and have a little hug. For those who have no neck issues, you may want to draw your nose up in towards the knees. Release the head down, release the feet down. Stretch your legs nice and long now and separate the legs probably about as wide as the mat edges. Soften your shoulders, turn the palms to the ceiling and relax. So just a minute's relaxation, your daily stretch. So stretching is so wonderful for you. Stretching and walking Probably two of the best practices to really get you back into your fitness. Or to just keep your fitness at optimum. So feel free to stay longer if you wish to. I'm going to stay here for another couple of minutes and then I shall leave you. Namaste.